Hey, welcome back all my gear addicted friends. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Addicted to Gear. I'm Tony and I'm like you, I'm addicted to gear. Today I want to talk to you about this 2016 Gibson Les Paul. Nice guitar, but I don't want to necessarily talk about the guitar itself. I want to talk about the PC board that is stuffed into the control cavity right over here. And look, guys, there's been a lot of talk about this PC board that Gibson is using in their guitars, okay? This model year has the PC board in it, and Gibson has been selling the advantages or marketing the advantages of this PC board to us like it's the best thing since sliced bread, and we should all just love it and be so happy that it's in our guitars. Now, the reality is that a lot of people don't actually like the PC board, and there's a lot of reasons for people not liking it. Now, I don't want to start a shitstorm of, pros and cons and you're right, I'm wrong kind of thing. Everybody has their own opinion, and there's reasons why people like it and there's reasons why people hate it. Now, I just want to use a simple, maybe cute analogy just to make you understand the way I kind of think about this PC board. Well, my first home was an older home that I purchased quite a while ago, and it was nothing fancy. It was a starter home, low technology, kind of an older home. And in the bathroom, we had sinks that had the old-fashioned stoppers, rubber stoppers that you would just plug up the sink hole with and, fill up the sink or the tub. And they were very low technology, cheap things that we just put in with your hands, and it would work. And it would work year after year, and we never even thought about them. When we came to our new home, we decided to splurge and buy something a little bit more modern, and our sinks were a little bit more modern as well. And in it, instead of having those little rubber stoppers, they had sort of a new technology, which was a chrome stopper that had a little system in it that you would just press and it would lock in place and would fill up the sink with water, and then you would just press it again and it would pop up and the water would drain. And we thought, oh, look at this, how great. Fantastic, really nice, high tech, it's clean, it looks modern, great. Until one day I pressed the darn thing and it got stuck and it wouldn't come up. And so I had to call a plumber, had to come to my house, I had to pay $80 for the house visit. He had to take a screwdriver and, take everything apart and basically knock that thing up. And what did I learn from that lesson? I learned that PC boards on Gibson Les Pauls are not necessarily what we need. Old technology sometimes works best and is more reliable. So why change something that you don't have to change? That is what came to mind when I had that experience, right? So I looked at the PC board in these guitars, and I said to myself, okay, if I buy a new guitar, a Gibson Les Paul, and I'm the type of player that doesn't mess around with my guitars, I just play the guitars, and if something goes wrong, I take it to a technician. I don't like to modify things. I use standard pickups. I don't change them out. I could be perfectly happy with the PC board in these guitars because I don't have to mess with them, right? Now, if you're the type of player like I am, that is constantly tweaking, constantly changing the values of the pots or the little resistors, or putting treble bleed mods in, or just experimenting with different pickups, different wiring configurations, you can kiss that goodbye. It's very difficult to be able to do any of that with this system. So I couldn't help but feel that overall the PC board design was kind of shoved down our throats as consumers by Gibson because it was probably better for them. At the end of the road, they're saving time, manufacturing time, assembly time. They can easily put in the entire board, clip in a couple of little clips, and they can take that guitar, package it, and ship it out, right? So at the end of the day, that the bottom line means more money in their pockets. Now, the consumers didn't really ask for this. They were perfectly happy with the older system, which was point-to-point wired, soldered in place, and it didn't have anything lacking. It worked for years and years. So why change it, right? So obviously this is a decision that was made from the bigwigs up at Gibson, and they decided, hey, we can squeeze out a few more dollars, maybe even charge more for the guitars, because, you know, it looks like we're giving them something better, something more modern, something that they might even perceive as something that sounds better, which still remains to be seen. There's a lot of debate about that as well. So overall, look, I don't want to be mean. I think that Gibson had an interesting idea. They just didn't manage to implement it properly. So what I mean by that is, if you're going to have a system like this and you're going to put it into your guitars, first of all, before you do anything else, don't offer it as a no choice option. So if you want to implement some kind of new technology in your guitars, still allow people to opt for the old technology. Offer your Gibson Les Pauls with the new fancy PC boards, and then offer the same model year without the PC boards, maybe at a discount, and you might be surprised which ones sell more. So that is one thing. Number two is that the system itself could have been made way more modular than it actually was. So, you know, they're saying that you don't have to solder anything in place, which is kind of true if you're using Gibson pickups. But how many of us stick solely to Gibson pickups? Not many of us, at least I don't. So, you know, if you're trying to get something in there that is only a 2-wire system, maybe it's a boutique hand-wound pickup that you had made from someone, and it's not a 4-wire system, well, you're gonna be kind of stuck. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to get something wired up to those pickups so that you can easily just then plug them into the PC board. And all that time and energy that you're spending trying to match up the little wires and connect them to that little clippy connector that you can put onto your board, you could have easily just wired it with a soldering gun if you had it the way it used to be. It would be way quicker. So you're not really saving time. You're not really saving any effort on your end. You know, so that's not necessarily a plus for me. Now, there's something to be said about the tonal variations that Gibson is offering. Okay, so that's cool. The fact that you can do the split coil system, you can do the straight pipe. So if you pull up one of the knobs here, it actually bypasses the entire system. That's actually my favorite option of the bunch, okay? But to be honest with you, I don't actually use the split coil all that much. So I don't really need it. You know, I bought it because it was there and I didn't have a choice. But would I have purchased it if I had to pay more money for it? No. I would have gone the standard wiring route, in my opinion, because I like to tweak. So when a component fails on the PC board, you're kind of screwed, right? If a normal volume pot or tone pot fails on a guitar, not a big deal. You buy another one, put it in there, solder, we just solder everything up again, and you're ready to go. If one of these fails on this system, you got to basically replace the entire PC board, which is expensive. I don't want to spend $100 or $200 for a PC board when I just need one pot. Come on, guys, that makes no sense. So what I would suggest to Gibson, and hopefully they're listening to the consumers, especially after the mess that they've found themselves in, hopefully they're listening to the consumers. If you want to continue using a PC board, Gibson, do us all a favor. Make it modular. When we say modular, we mean the pots on the board should be able to be removed and replaced without soldering, and we can change the values on them if we want to. That's number one. Number two, the pickups. If you want us to put in pickups into the system, why do we need a little adapter at the end of the wires? Why can't we just put the wires in an adapter and screw the ends in? These things have been available for such a long time. There's a lot of companies doing this out there, and it's easy, no soldering required, it's clean, and it doesn't matter if you have a 4-wire system or a 2-wire system, it's all doable, right? And I would even go as far as to say, make the resistors modular as well. How difficult is it to put a little two-pronged resistor inside a little adapter that's mounted on the board? That way, if you want to pop it out, you can change the values of it, you can do a whole bunch of stuff, and you don't lose any flexibility. Guys, come on, wake up. It's not hard. So, you know, right now, the way things lie with the PC board situation, I feel, and this is my own opinion, you guys might feel different, but I feel that the pains outweigh the pros when it comes to working with the system. And I learned that when I purchased this guitar that had a kind of a special pickup in the bridge position, and I wanted to swap it out and I didn't have the right connectors, and the pickups that I had were 2-wire and not 4-wire, so I would lose some of the functionality of it. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually going to modify the pickup itself so that it would be within my specs, and I'd be able to put a nice cover on it, get rid of these funky big bolts that are on it that I don't really like. And you know, I like the tone of it, but I just don't like the look and the way it's put together. So I'm going to modify that myself. So it's basically a workaround. I would have normally just taken that pickup out and put in another pickup, and I have plenty of other pickups here that I can do that with. But unfortunately, it's not an easy thing. So eventually, I'll probably take out the PC board, put it in a bag, and go back to standard wiring on the guitar and just leave it at that. And I think that will keep me perfectly happy for years and years. And I'd be able to modify the guitar, change pickups, change pot values, do whatever I want to do, and it wouldn't take me very long. Now, to be fair to Gibson, this is a 2016 model. We're going to be going into 2019 now. The pots are working well. There's no scratchiness. There's nothing that has failed yet. So I'm not going to jump the gun and say that they don't last. So far, I have 2 guitars with these systems in it, and they both work well. So I want to be fair to say that, look, you know, if you're not a tweaker, you can live with it. It will last. Haven't had any issues with it so far. Some people claim that it doesn't sound as good as, you know, straight point-to-point wiring. I can't really vouch for that. I do know, however, that there is a definite difference in tone if you bypass all of the electronics. To me, that sounds the best. But in terms of whether or not, you know, the circuit will sound better than a hand-wired electronic tone volume circuit would, I can't really vouch for that. I've seen a mess in terms of how people have wired up their guitars, okay? I've seen rat's nests, I've seen things with cold solder joints, excessive wiring, like too much wiring in there. I've seen so many things that would not necessarily make it sound better, even though it was hand wired, let me tell you. So it all depends on how it was done and who did it and the quality of the workmanship. So you can get garbage either way. But I don't really feel threatened by PC boards per se, because look, if the traces are done well and the soldering at the factory is done to you know, spec, and it's not sold cold solder joints that are in there or anything like that, the PC board should not fail. I mean, it's protected. It's not like it's being handled every day. It shouldn't crack. It shouldn't fail. It should last a long time. My only you know, complaint is the fact that when it does fail, you kind of have to replace the whole thing, which to me is a money grab, and it's not something that I appreciate as a consumer. So that's it. Before you cut your PC board in half on a bandsaw and throw it away, give it a shot. You know, give me your feedback if you have this system in your guitar and you like it. I want to hear from you. If you guys avoided purchasing a guitar because it had this system in it, I want to hear from you as well. And maybe you decided to buy it anyway and modify it yourself. I want to hear from you as well. So please give me your comments, give me your feedback. I want to hear what you think about the PC board dilemma inside the Gibson Les Pauls. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you want Gibson to continue doing this? Or would you rather see it go the way of the dinosaur and have things brought back the way they were. Easy, standard, old technology, but it worked. Let me hear what you have to say. I'm very curious. I know where my thoughts lie, but I want to hear your comments. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of Addicted to Gear. This was the Gibson PC board edition, kind of a little rant, mini rant there. I hope you enjoyed what we had to talk about today. If you have any comments, you know what to do. If you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. I want to wish you all a great day, and please stay tuned because there'll be more videos coming your way right here on Addicted to Gear. See you soon.